Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Bolling, along with Jedediah Bila, Geraldo Rivera, Meghan McCain, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. Was this question fair, or was radio host Hugh Hewitt trying to intentionally trip up Donald Trump last night?
Are you familiar with General Soleimani? He runs the Quds forces.
Yes, okay, right.
Do you expect his behavior?
The Kurds, by the way, have been horribly mistreated by us.
No, not the Kurds, the Quds forces, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Quds forces, the bad guys.
Right.
Do you expect his behavior to change as a result?
Kurds.
No, I'm looking for the next commander-in-chief to know who Hassan Nasrallah is, and Zawahiri, and al-Julani, and al-Baghdadi.
Those are like history questions. Do you know this one? Do you know that one?
I don't believe in gotcha questions. I'm not trying to, quiz you on who the worst guy in the world
question,
is.
Though. The day after the election, I'll know more about it than you will ever know.
And this morning, in his trademark style, Donald Trump took it to Hewitt.
When you say Quds versus Kurds, I thought he said Kurds as third-rate radio announcer that I did a show. It was like, gotcha. Every question was, do I know this one and that one? And, it was like he worked hard on that.
And then Hewitt's response.
I asked him about gotcha questions because I hate them. And in the course of the interview, which actually went 20 minutes, and Donald Trump did very well throughout most of that interview, including some very tricky questions about China and Israel. But come back with a third-rate announcer, that's my Trump tattoo. You earn that in this business. And I'm always interested in critiques. I take them under advisement.
All right, Geraldo, Hugh Hewitt says he's not interested in gotcha questions. He's well known in the industry for gotcha questions.
I don't know Hugh Hewitt from a hole in the wall, but I do know a gotcha question when I see one, and that was a gotcha question. I mean, what is this, Celebrity Jeopardy? Karen Hughes, who was press secretary for George W. Bush when he was running against Al Gore, 1999, she's the one that coined that phrase, what is this Jeopardy? And she told candidate George Bush, who later became the Bush 43, not to answer those kinds of questions. Who's the president of Pakistan? Right. What form of government do they have in Kazakhstan? How many countries are there in South America? Those are fine questions for a quiz show. And he'll have a briefing paper when the time comes. And Quds and Kurds, and, I side with Donald on this. Maybe he should not have gone nuclear. Meghan can talk more about Trump's tendency to go nuclear, but I really think that in this case Trump is right.
Meghan, up until when Hugh Hewitt said, General Soleimani, and he's the general of the Quds, and then Trump thought he said Kurds, everything seemed to be fine up until then, and then he started, as Geraldo points out, rattling off names of the terrorist leaders. Then it kind of took a turn for the South. Was that part fair?
Well, first of all, I would like to say I love that anytime Trump has a meltdown, people ask me my response because my family's been in the chain of fire. I will say Carly Fiorina went on the same show, answered it very eloquently, knew all the answers to the questions. Debatably, it's a gotcha question. I didn't think so. My concern with Donald Trump is this. I have real-life experience on the campaign trail. I dedicated almost 2 years of my life in my 20s. This is the glory time. This is the fun time. He can answer any interview question he wants. It's going to get a lot harder, a lot more intense, and I question his capacity to be able to stand up to the heat under fire. He's going to have to do an interview question with a liberal person. He's doing a CNN debate on September 16th with this very man.
But, Greg, these candidates, they pick and choose who they go on shows with, whether it's Fox or CNN or MSNBC on TV or radio as well. There are known candidates that will not go on known radio shows.
Yeah, but the thing is, he misheard, and that's a huge story. It's a big story, and I'm glad we opened with it because I think it's groundbreaking. Look, all the questions are going to be gotcha questions when you're running for president. So you got to get used to it. You got to man up and deal with it. But here's the crux to me. Fans of Trump are not asking him to expend the effort. They like him as is. Mm-hmm. In fact, that's why when you criticize Trump, they get very upset. They take it personally because they say, look, we like the fact that Trump doesn't care and that Trump's going to get this stuff done. This kind of stuff is not important to the Trump contingency. But I kind of want both. I want the personality. I want the leadership. But I also want a candidate that will expend the effort and go the extra mile and provide some aspirational leadership and not just say the same things that your fan base already has. The next step for Donald Trump is to stop convincing the hardcore fans and start converting the rest of America. And that requires him to put in the effort and actually, think about these things, think about foreign policy. But I will defend him on this one and strongly. You can learn those things.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are some things you can't learn, and that's leadership. And Donald's a natural leader.
But can I ask you a question? When you see Carly Fiorina answer it, in my opinion,
I don't think she answered it. I disagree with you on her answer.
I actually thought she answered it very well.
She was, for instance, and I don't mean to interrupt, she was asked what's the difference between Hamas and Hezbollah. She said Hamas is based in the Palestinian territories. Hezbollah is based in Beirut. That is true, but she didn't mention Hezbollah is Shiite and aligned with Iran. Hamas is Sunni, and they're more aligned with Al-Qaeda and ISIS.
And your answer is this is a gotcha question. To me, it looks rookie. That's all I'm saying.
Bring Jed in. Jed, this is really important that Donald Trump sat down with Hugh Hewitt. There are other candidates that will not sit down with him, especially in advance of the CNN debate, which Hugh Hewitt will be one of the questioners. Does he deserve points, credit for sitting down with maybe what could be perceived as a hostile question?
Of course he does. And of course it was a gotcha question. I guarantee you that most of the candidates would not have answered that question well. Bottom line is, I'm going to tell you, people don't care. People don't care if your presidential candidate can name all of these people, these leaders of Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda. What they care about is that candidate's view on global terrorism, what their policy would be, and whether or not they can trust that guy or that woman to hire the right military advisors and the right people backed up by the right ideology to see that policy through. Because we all know that a president gets into office and he relies on other people. Whether or not that person knows the names of all these people doesn't matter. What matters is whether or not they want to take out terrorism, whether or not they have the right people around them fixated in the right places to make that happen.
But he might be the nominee going up against the previous Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton. If he's going up against her in a debate, some of these optics are going to be really lethal to the Republican Party.
I honestly don't know how well she's going to answer those questions in light of the fact that she did a really terrible job as Secretary.
Okay, that's fair enough.
And even if she answers those well, even if she answers those questions well, I guarantee you there are going to be questions that she can't handle well, which involve a lot of her record and a lot of other aspects. And you know what? If you're not going to be tough on terrorism, I don't care if you know the leaders of everyone. I don't care. I don't care about all that stuff. If you're not going to go in and get these guys or have a solid policy, what's the difference?
It was asked that question on the debate stage at CNN and turned around and said, how about if I rattle off a few names of business CEOs and everyone stood there?
Knowledge, exactly.
Because this is where he's been. He's spent the last 30 or 40 years in the
Because I don't
business
think business CEOs are trying to blow up America like the leader of ISIS.
Well,
I'm
not making that assumption either. I'm simply saying that, as Greg points out, you got plenty of time to learn, figure out what the prior government of Kazakhstan.
I mean, look, cows, they chew cud, and cows then make curds. That's how much I know.
That's good. That's apparently enough to get
well said, Greg.
And that got me here on the 5.
Well done.
Straight at it. To another interview in the headlines today, Hillary Clinton sat down for a rare national interview, only the third since launching her campaign, and she was defiant as ever about her server scandal.
I don't think there's any precedent for anyone just relying on a personal email system at your level of government.
This was fully above board. People knew I was using a personal email. I did it for convenience. I sent emails that I thought were work-related to people's .gov accounts. The vast majority were captured by the system.
Well, she said it doesn't make her feel good that people don't believe her email answers, but she is sorry about all of that, or is she?
Do you want to apologize to the American people for the choice you made?
Well, it wasn't the best choice, and I certainly have said that. I will continue to say that.
Well, does it concern you that people don't trust your answers on this?
Well, it certainly doesn't make me feel good. At the end of the day, I am sorry that this has been confusing to people and has raised a lot of questions.
Love it.
Sorry about the confusion.
Yeah,
that's never hard to say you're sorry.
Sorry about screwing up.
She's amazing. I'm starting to love her. If you look at her job history, you got the Russian reset, you got Benghazi, you got the server. Her resume is full of more disasters than an Irwin Allen film festival. and she's like she has the opposite of the Midas touch. She's like the anti-Trump. Wherever she goes, her incompetence is contagious. She's like measles. And I don't know. And also, when she retweeted. When she tweets, she quotes compliments about herself, which I find hilarious.
Jet, she said...
I think a lot of people only retweet the good stuff.
She just wasn't thinking.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be an acceptable answer for the former Secretary of State and someone who, I mean, she's been in politics for a long time.
That's not
Is that
accurate
fine?
But I think
No, I'm sorry. Look, Geraldo, look, she's grossly, if nothing else, if not corrupt, then this woman is grossly incompetent. You can't
But this
tell
is
me
what she
she's
said.
smart.
All right.
She knew the rules.
Could you hold up
she
your
knew she
two?
wasn't supposed
Could you
to
hold
be
up
doing
your
it.
BlackBerry?
I think she's
Hold up,
lying.
hold
I
up,
think it's really
Tudor.
bad spin.
Here is Eric Bolling, like many people, has a business personal device and a.
How is this relevant? This has nothing
Because
to do with anything.
Hillary Clinton has only one, like Geraldo Rivera. Like Geraldo Rivera, Hillary Clinton only has one.
This is not relevant.
So I have business on here. I have my dirty laundry on here.
I am willing to wager. I am willing to bet that Eric Bolling does not potentially have national security information that could put us at risk.
You have no idea.
First of all,
we can some of that stuff is.
we can bring out Eric's props all day long. No disrespect, but she's lying. This is very bad spin. Queen Hillary is irritated that she's not doing well. The number one thing Americans think of with Hillary Clinton is liar. She's spinning. She's running scared, and we're all enjoying watching it.
She could drill for oil. She spins so much.
Very nice. With her feet.
That would help us.
Think about this for 1 minute. 25% of her emails are out now. That means 75% are left to go, Geraldo. This is drip, drip, drip of bad news for her.
That is why her unfavorables are so high, because of the drip, drip, drip. But that is the process now. At the end of the dripping, like the fake stand-down order in Benghazi, this will be a fake scandal. It will have done its job.
Benghazi is a fake
It will have
scandal?
deteriorated her quality as a
Benghazi
candidate.
is a fake scandal.
Benghazi, in terms of
A
the
fake
stand-down,
scandal.
was
Tell
an
that to the
absolute-
families
Oh,
of
please,
the-
don't give me that. Don't give me that
Don't
family
give you
stuff.
that.
But we know that
Don't
there was
give
no
you that.
stand-down order in Benghazi.
Don't give you that.
Ever given. We know that, and she was battered over the head with that for months.
Okay.
That's not the big promise. She blamed the video. She lied. She went to the family and blamed the video. It's a huge
I'm very specific. We basically alleged that this woman and the man she was working for, Barack Obama, stood by idly when these 4 people were murdered, did nothing, which was a lie.
We never
apologized
the lie is the video.
to her for
The lie is the video. The lie is the video.
That is another lie. Another lesser lie.
We would still love to hear from General Ham. Can we stay on this for a second? So this, Jedediah, these emails will likely be released into these primaries. I mean, is this the thing that she eventually says enough is enough? I can't take
I think the Democrats are most worried about the way she's handled the issue. That the way she's handled, I mean, look at this. This is not an apology. This is not taking responsibility. Once again, she's horrifically unlikable, A. And B, she's not coming out and saying, I shouldn't have done this. This was not proper protocol. Look at her numbers. Look at her polls. She's
You just characterized her performance with Andrea Mitchell as being unlikable.
That's why
I found her totally likable.
people don't trust her because they don't believe what she's saying. She withheld information.
She had a nice outfit on.
She didn't want to hand out her servers. She has been fighting this every step of the way.
Her favorables, she's underwater on her favorables, and they've done nothing but slide. Her unfavorables have done nothing but going up, and her favorables, but not.
There wouldn't be as much momentum about Joe Biden right now if she were really doing as well as she is. And Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders are getting a lot of momentum. Yes, I did. And I like Joe Biden.
Did you think? I like him too. I love him.
As a person,
do you
I think
that
he's a likable man.
did he sound like a potential
he
candidate to you?
No, but
he sounded like he doesn't have it. He sounded like he wants someone wants to talk him into
Eric's right. He sounded like a guy who's looking for a way out right now.
But it doesn't mean that there's not a lot of momentum around him and Bernie Sanders because Democrats are looking for anything but Hillary Clinton right now.
He wants to go home and run through the grass.
Who doesn't? Oh, you mean the lawn?
So do I.
All right, we'll leave it right there. Coming up, a challenge for Black Lives Matter activists targeting police across America. Greg has it next.